folks. Thanks for watching. The cloud of secrecy surrounding Mitt Romney's finances is refusing to lift. The candidate has no one to blame but himself. In Colorado today, Romney said President Obama and the Democrats are trying to avoid a real debate on the issues.
The president the other day was kind enough to give me a call on the day that I cinched the nomination, and he said, I congratulate you, and then he said, and I think the country will benefit from an important and honest debate on the issues and on the course for America, on the future for America. And I think that's absolutely right. So far, his campaign hasn't started that. All they're doing is attacking on every diversion they can come up with.
It's difficult for the President of the United States to have an honest and open debate with Mitt Romney when Americans still don't know much about Mitt Romney and his finances. Vice President Joe Biden explained why Romney's double standard hurts him among voters during a speech to the Hispanic advocacy group La Raza.
When his father was a candidate for president in 1968, his father released 12 years of tax returns because he said, and I quote, 1 year could be a fluke, perhaps done for show, end of quote. That was his father. His son has released only 1 year of his tax returns, making alive the old adage, like father, like son. He wants you to show your papers, but he won't show us his. It's kind of fascinating.
Instead of answering the questions, the Romney campaign is using political hacks to dismiss these complicated financial issues. Here's the RNC's Sean Spicer on MSNBC.
The sterling example of George Romney, who released a dozen tax years and said that if you do any less, it can be taken out of context and not be really illustrative.
Frankly, Andrea, it's a distraction. He released the tax records. Now there will never be enough for Team Obama.
Never be enough for Team Obama? Really? Well, don't we deserve more than just maybe 1 year of tax returns? Romney surrogates, like this guy, Jason Chavez, pretends Mitt Romney has released all of his past tax returns.
Should Governor Romney release all of those tax returns? Right now, he's in a very unique position for a presidential candidate. He's only released 1 year and a summary of 2011.
Well, Governor Romney has paid 100% of his taxes that are owed. He's complied 100% what the law requires.
No, I'm sorry, Congressman. I was just asking if you think he should release them, not whether he's complied with the law. Should he release his tax returns?
I think he has released the tax returns.
More of them. We need more of them.
Just yes or no, should he release them or not?
No, I don't. Most people, they don't care about this. Governor Romney's been very successful. Get over it. It's the reality.
Oh, we're over it, all right. He has been successful. We just want to know how successful on foreign soil. What about loyalty? During a radio interview in Iowa, Romney said again he has nothing to hide.
My investments have been held by a blind trust, have been managed by a trustee. I don't manage them, don't even know where they are. That trustee follows all U.S. laws. All the taxes are paid as appropriate. All of them have been reported to the government. There's nothing hidden there.
And if there's nothing to hide, then why won't Romney just be open and transparent about his finances? This is just one of several important questions the American people are entitled to know about the man who wants to lead the free world. Here are, four of the questions. Why would Mitt Romney invest money in offshore tax havens if there is no tax advantage to doing so? Why did Romney transfer ownership of a Bermuda holding firm to a blind trust in his wife's name a day before he became governor of Massachusetts? Why was the ownership of this firm not disclosed on Romney's federal financial reports during his presidential campaigns? Why won't Mitt Romney release more than 1 year of tax returns? Congressman James Clyburn was on my radio show today and said the silence on these questions is hurting Romney's credibility.
Either you're hiding something or you are in some way betting against the country that you now want to head. How can we elect somebody to be president of the United States without finding out whether or not he is really loyal to the United States of America?
It's a question of loyalty now, don't you think? Are you loyal to the country? Is it disloyal to send money overseas and try to make more money after getting the fruits of this land in your back pocket? We don't know the answer to a lot of these questions. But another Romney supporter gave us some insight into the Republican mindset when it comes to the rich and paying taxes. Good old South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham was asked by the Huffington Post for his opinion on Mitt Romney's offshore tax havens. This is what the senator said. It's really American to avoid paying taxes legally. As long as it was legal, I'm okay with it. I don't blame anybody for using the tax code to their advantage. It's a game we play. Every American tries to find a way to get the most deductions they can. I see nothing wrong with playing the game because we set it up to be a game. Really? Gosh, Senator, you don't sound like a guy who's been audited by the Internal Revenue Service. When I was audited by the IRS, that son of a gun wasn't playing any games. He wanted to know where the money was, and he wanted to know what the heck happened. It's amazing to me how entitled the wealthy in this country feel about their taxes. The sacrifices, think about this, the sacrifices that have been made by Americans who have come before us. They've now turned it into a game in Washington. Hell, it's just a game. Let's try to beat the IRS. Did Dick Cheney play a game when he got 5 deferments? Oh, I don't know. You and I as Americans have been so fortunate not to have to go to war and pay the ultimate price. We should be honored to pay taxes to fund the very institution that make this country great today and to support the institutions that keep us safe. But it's just a game. It's called Beat the IRS. You know what? What Lindsey Graham said may be the most honest answer a Republican has ever given when it comes to taxes. Mitt Romney could really help this country out a lot if he would be so honest. But here we are, as a country. We're 119 days away from the election, and there are surrogates out on the talking heads in Mitt Romney's corner trying to make the case that we know enough, that he really doesn't have to come forward with any more tax returns. The real Mitt Romney, once again, needs to stand up to the American people and stop hiding behind accountants and hiding behind schemes and explain to us his wealth. Don't we deserve that as Americans? You know, it's amazing what you find around the office. Doggone it. Here are my taxes from 2008. You know, when you file taxes, you got deadlines. It's April 15th. If you got an extension, you got to go to October 15th. And if it goes beyond that, you're going to be paying a penalty. And if you have amendments that you got to make to your tax return, doggone it, they're still going to want their money. You see, there's one thing about the IRS. All they want is their money. And this game that Lindsey Graham has put together with his other friends on the wealthy side of America's ledger, they say it's a game that's set up for the wealthy. Let's go play it. Let's see how little we can pay. Well, for Mitt Romney, it's 13.9%, while middle-class Americans across America are paying double that. You middle-classers, you just don't play the game well enough. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question. Should Americans be concerned that a presidential candidate keeps his money in foreign banks? Text A for yes, text B for no to 622-639, or you can go to our blog at ed.msnbc.com and leave a comment. We'll bring you the results later on in the show. I'm joined tonight by Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley. Governor, good to have you with us tonight. Appreciate your time on the program.
Good to be with you.
You know, how big of an issue is this, do you think it is with the American people? Are the Democrats just talking about this to make, or do you really think that Americans care about this?
Oh, absolutely. You know why we should all care about it is this. Look, there is no progress without a job. We all want faster job creation. We want our economy to grow by greater strides than it has coming out of this Bush recession. And so we have two theories here as to how to do it. One that President Obama has advanced, the one that our parents and grandparents believed in, which was to work hard, to invest in our country, to believe enough in our country that we could make it better for our children with more jobs and opportunity. The problem that the Romney campaign has is this. With Governor Romney shielding his income outside the country, either in the Cayman Islands or in this Bermuda Shell Corporation or in Swiss bank accounts, he is really undercutting their story.
And is he unpatriotic? I want to play this. President Obama was asked, in a television interview in New Hampshire. He was asked this question, and I think every elected official should answer this question. That's my opinion. Here it is.
Is it your belief that it's unpatriotic for someone to have a Swiss bank account?
Well, I think what's important if you are running for president is that the American people know who you are, what you've done, and that you're an open book. And, that's been true of every presidential candidate, dating back to Mr. Romney's father.
Pretty clear that President Obama is walking a fine line there. He didn't answer the question directly. He talked about transparency. What do you think? Is it unpatriotic to have money overseas after getting the fruits of this land here in America and being successful?
I think what's very, very clear is that having your money sheltered overseas and avoiding paying your taxes in America when you are part of the highest earning 1% of our country means that you're not contributing to our economy and not making it grow. I appreciate, I know people will ask, is it patriotic or not patriotic? I think more fundamentally, we need to ask, does this work to make our economy grow or not? I mean, their theory is that if you cut taxes even more deeply for the top 1% of people, they'll invest it back in creating jobs. That's not what Romney's doing with his money, is it? He put it in Switzerland, he put it in the Cayman Islands, Bermuda. And that's really, I think, the core of this and why the Romney campaign is so very afraid of this issue and why they won't release their taxes.
I think it's a character issue. I think it's far beyond the economy. I understand the connection you're making to the economy. But when you have a sitting senator saying this whole thing's a game, playing a game, do you agree?
Yeah, that was appalling. I found that utterly appalling. Most of us go to line-of-duty funerals all too regularly. And what so many hardworking families have had to endure over this protracted conflicts, that's a sacrifice. That's a tremendous sacrifice. And to have a United States senator talk about playing the game at the same time that his Tea Party extremist allies in the House are talking about dismantling large portions of our Army, of our Navy, of our Marine Corps, I think is really disgusting. And I think it is not befitting of a great and free people or of the once proud party of Lincoln. The question we have to answer as a people this fall is, do we want to move forward with an economy that's growing, or do we want to continue to believe their ridiculous story that the bigger a rich guy's Swiss bank account is, the more jobs it creates in America? Give me a break.
Well, I agree with you, Governor, and I also find it very ironic that the very same people who are clamoring for President Obama to come forward with a birth certificate that they always say is not real.
Goodness.
These are the same people that don't want to vet Mitt Romney and know about his finances. I find it interesting.
It's ridiculous.
Governor Martin O'Malley, great to have you with us tonight.
Thanks
so much. Remember to answer tonight's question there at the bottom of the screen. Share your thoughts on Twitter at Ed Show and also on Facebook. We'd love to know what you think. Today, Mitt Romney talked about the glory days of a past president, but he was not talking about the Bushes. Jonathan Alter joins me next. Stay with us.